The final week of August is here, and it's time to get caught up on all things Princeton Vikings. We're here with Joe Roberts. Joe, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great, Rob. How are you today?
Good. You had to, things have to be quite excited through the hallways at Princeton High School after that big win on Friday night, correct?
Well, there is something to the lore of high school sports. There is something to being back to school and fall and the seasons that we change. Last week we talked about the dog days of summer. Now we're looking into what's about to do. The leaves are changing and we're getting ready to put pumpkins out and what have you. But there is something about a football game in high school and what it does to set the mood and set the tone for the week. And when you come off of a win, there's just a good sense of feeling about how you're going to be in the hallways and how you're going to be in the classroom. And so absolutely, coming from Elyria to Lakota West to now here we are in week 3, moving right along. I just think there's just a lot of great momentum, a lot of great feeling. And you could see it Saturday too, because we hosted some JV and freshman football here. We had JV volleyball here, and there was just people were around campus Saturday morning. The next day our kids had finished lifting and film, and everybody just had a great sense after Friday night.
It's so exciting. Do you think it's because there's so many student athletes that participate in football, so it's such a wide coverage of students in different classes and grades that why it affects the school that way?
Yeah, without question. I mean, when you push 120, 125 student athletes on your football program, and it continues to grow. I mean, Coach Parker just continues to, he's the Pied Piper in our building, and the student athletes gravitate toward him. And the more you see that, the more attraction there is to it, because there's more chatter, there's more buzz about it every single day. And you sit beside a student athlete, and in particular, you may sit beside a football player in class. And so you build relationships. The kids that aren't participating in the football team, they're doing other things. They have relationships with those student athletes. And so that's how it continues to grow as well.
Yeah, it's fantastic. If anybody missed the game, they can go back and watch an archive version. If you go to the varsity football schedule, you'll see the link to watch a replay. It's free of charge. We had over 1,000 viewers to watch that 18-3 victory. Anything else you want to share about the game, Joe, just about being on the sidelines there and just watching your Vikings?
Well, I know that we're going to spend a lot of time focusing this week on some special teams.
Okay.
The kids really did come out and work their tails off on Friday night and saw some really great things offensively, defensively, and special teams. I know that I'm sure that coach is going to spend some time working on the kicking game. I'm going to attribute a lot of our kicking game Friday night to nerves and just simply the fact of the environment, the atmosphere. Like we talked about, that Elyria game was a great opportunity for our student athletes, but now you're in conference play. Now you're against your foe, the team up north, just one exit. You have all of that going against you. You're dealing with the heat element. And so I just think the kids they were over anxious a little bit. And so now we're going to start to settle in and really set forth and put our eyes and put our focus on Lakota East and moving forward from there.
Sounds great. It has to be pleasing from the administrator side of things when you make a decision to move a game back from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. for weather related, and it all worked out fine for everybody. So that just had to be a nice green check mark for you guys.
Yeah, it did. Hats off to the sports medicine staff of Lakota and Princeton for being in front of everything and making sure, we still saw some kids go down cramping, and our ATs, Lakota's ATs, they were out there instantaneously. We had the ice packs moving on them, the massagers to get things going. And of course, they stayed hydrated. It's just you're burning so much energy when you're out there playing. It's something that's going to happen. But yeah, they did a wonderful job. And, you never know, because here we were right before 7 o'clock. And at the end of the day, we could have kicked at 7.
Sure.
But that extra hour allocated and allotted some time, not only from a safety perspective, but, there's a mental focus to it as well. A little bit cooler, had a little bit of more of a breeze come in, that humidity dropped a little bit, gave our kids a little bit more opportunity to really showcase themselves.
Last thing on football, Lakota East Thunderhawks come in for week 3 at Jake Sweeney Stadium, the first home game, which is great. Week 3, pack the place. It should be a nice evening for football and get that work to get that third win.
Yeah, I know that Lakota East is looking for their first win, so we've got to be ready for that. They've got a new coaching staff up there and Coach Kitna, but I think Coach Parker will have our guys ready to go Friday night. Being home for our students also will be extremely important. We'll have our fan base here. They get to get back into the stadium. They get to get back in the swing of things. So it's going to be a great Friday night. And the weather, my goodness gracious, the weather's going to look beautiful. So
Yep, no
let's
question.
just keep it going at that pace and that level.
Good luck to the football team this week. Let's switch. Finally, cross country got to get out there and run and show their wares. Let's talk a little bit about cross country, Joe.
Yeah, they headed over to Voice of America Park Saturday morning and ran in the Lakota East Invite, which, as we talked about last week, is our conference course as well as the Southwest District course site that our kids run on. And I saw the coaches after the race. They came back here, and I had a chance to see them Saturday morning, and everybody felt real good about where we are. They felt the course was in really, really good shape. Obviously the level of competition was good for them. They're seeing some great results. They had to, just like everybody else, they're battling the heat element on Saturday, but they got out there early and then it started to warm up at the end. So really seeing some great things from cross country, and what we're about to look forward to as we set our sights to head back to Voice of America Park for that GMC championship in literally about 4 weeks.
Gotcha. Switching gears to golf, looks like they had another busy week. They had some GMC play early in the week, and then some non-conference stuff, at least girls golf. How about let's talk golf?
Yeah, boys and girls golf, they're moving right along. I feel like the season's about to be over. They've played so many matches, but they're really getting into the thick of what we call the league dual schedule this week. In particular, the girls, they'll play Sycamore this week. We were scheduled to play Middletown tomorrow. I'm sorry, Talawanda today and Sycamore tomorrow. We were scheduled to play Middletown again this week, and that got bumped. And then the boys, they're setting their sights. They've got a tournament next Saturday up in Springfield, Ohio. We've got a couple JV matches in there. The program just continues to grow numbers wise and the interest level, and looking forward to seeing how they do this week as they set out into some more tournament atmosphere events on the boys' side.
Nice. Girls tennis is knee deep into GMC play right now. Looks like they got a full slate all week with let's see, Fairfield, Oak Hills, and go non-conference in week 4. But it looks like there are a couple matches with Fairfield and Oak Hills this week.
Yeah, we had to move a bunch of stuff around from last week. That Oak Hills match got moved a couple of times based on the weather and just where we were from a standpoint of that. And then it's almost like you wish you could just take all those matches and just put them all on one day and play them. But
yes,
it's here we are. It's Fairfield, and then it's Oak Hills, and then we'll Coleraine, and then we go right on down the line, trying to knock out some of those league opponents. And then the Coaches Classic is coming up right around the corner, I think in 2 Saturdays. So just getting those girls ready and getting them into that type of environment that Coach Bruning likes to put them in to prepare them not only for the conference tournament, but again for sectionals.
Sounds great. Going inside with girls volleyball, looks like Yellow Springs this evening, and then Western Brown Tuesday, and then back into GMC play on Thursday. Sycamore comes over. Busy week for the volleyballers.
It is. And, Coach Weller, she circles today like 7 times. She highlights it and puts a bunch of stars around it. And for everyone listening that doesn't know what goes on in Yellow Springs, there's a little place called Young's Dairy. And so that is what they're looking forward to. They go to Yellow Springs, and then they get to go have ice cream afterwards. So everybody's excited about it. If I didn't have so much going on, I'd jump on the bus and go with them to get me a milkshake. But they're really excited about that. And then we'll jump right back in with Western Brown. And then, like you said, we've got league play starting right up. So girls we saw some good things. They took 2 on the chin this weekend against Talawanda and Monroe, both very good programs and very solid teams with a veteran lineups. But Coach Weller's liking the results that she's seeing so far. So we're looking forward to this week.
Nice. Switching over to the young water polo, or the WAPO squads. Looks like they're jumping into, the boys are in GMC play at Mason. So I'm guessing the girls play earlier that day with Mason. So Mason's always strong in water polo.
Yeah, we've got Mason this week. We've got the beautiful people on the west side of St. X. Those Bombers will come back and into play, in the Mavericks for the girls' side. But then we head up to Upper Arlington over the weekend, and that'll be a great match for the boys, and we'll see where it goes. And we're leading into after this weekend, after the Labor Day weekend, we're starting to get into what the really thick of water polo, and that's Ohio Cup comes into play. And then everything gears right into what happens with the regionals, and then obviously qualifying for state.
Let's wrap this week's show up talking about soccer. It looks like GMC play this week with the Aviators coming over and the Cardinals. So a big week to make some points in the GMC, Joe.
Yeah, we'll have another non-conference match with Western Brown. We've got that series, boys and girls soccer and volleyball on Tuesday. We'll work with that. And then obviously it begins GMC play. So the boys had a weekend off, which was really good. Coach Hyatt's done a very good job of working through the idea of giving those guys the rest that they need.
Sure.
He's a big believer in Monday through Thursday, just going as hard as you can. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, shutting it down and giving a rest. So that's been really beneficial for us. And so he'll do that. And then we've got, like you said, we've got league play going. And then from that point forward, essentially every Tuesday, Thursday, Rob, we'll have a league match until we hit the sectional tournament. And I really like what's happening on the boys' side. I like what the enthusiasm's happening. The girls traveled to Trotwood Madison on Saturday, and it was really a great opportunity to get everybody out on the field and play. And Coach Bannister worked on some things with the kids, and so that's been a really nice benefit to be able to put some non-conference games into that thick of that GMC schedule for the girls.
Sure.
And really right now for our girls soccer program, we've got to work on managing the health and the well-being of the student. We got to make sure they stay healthy and keep those injuries, that injury level at a minimum. So, because we're continuing to fight numbers to a degree. And so I think this is a good stretch for our girls to really get some things going. And obviously this change in the weather this week has really helped us.
Very welcomed after last week for sure. Well, Coach, have a great week. Great success to all the Viking student athletes, and just have a great week, and we'll touch base this time next week.
You got it, Rob. Thanks for having me.
Have a good week. Thanks, Joe.
Yep.